Alright, I ride a 250, and this is 1900, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's 1900 cc engine. You can tell of the torque and the power gain that you get from this bike at low winds. Like, this bike, if you're a beginner, this bike has the potential. It has the potential to give you that grasp feeling. You need the feeling like, oh shit, I need to hold on. This bike gives you that feeling at the low wind power. Now, top end power is not as strong. The top end power, it tops out about 110, but when you're doing about 70 miles per hour, you can tell that you don't have the power that you had. You don't have nowhere near as much power you had as whenever you was at your low RPMs. But that's up for every bike, but it feels like my Ninja 250 has a tad bit more power at top end. I'm gonna compare both at about 70 miles per hour. He has a little bit more power at top end than what this bike would put at. Now, this bike is faster than my 250, but it's not as good in top end performance as my 250, as in power wise. But when you're looking at this bike from 0 to about 70, the bike has way better low end power than my 250 does. Alright, next I'm gonna talk about the heat of the bike that the bike puts off. This heat, the engine puts out so much heat compared to the 250. I would not recommend riding this bike with shorts at all, because the heat shields, they do justice, but you can still feel the heat that comes through the heat shields. So I would not recommend you riding this bike with shorts at all. Alright, next topic, I'm talking about the seating position of this bike. The seat is comfortable. It is so much comfortable than my 250. Because you're comparing a cruiser to a sport bike. So, you expect a cruiser to have a way better seat than a 250 does, or any sport bike in general. But the thing is, if you're riding a sport bike and you're trying to start getting into cruisers, now the seating position is hell of a lot different. See, with a cruiser, you got your feet out in front of you. A sport bike, your feet are either behind you or they're like right below you. So it can be a little bit uncomfortable whenever you're riding, when you first start riding a cruiser, just because your body is not used to it. Your body just ain't used to your feet up being in front of you, so it can be a little uncomfortable. Now, the farthest I've been on my Ninja 250 has been roughly about an hour and 30 minutes. That's the farthest trip I've been on my bike. Alright, this bike, when I first get on it, I feel like I can ride for days. Just be gone for days on this bike. But after a while, my body's not used to just how my legs are in front of me, and I start throwing my leg out like this, just to try to move my leg around, because they're not used to being in front, and it's just a little bit uncomfortable. But I'm pretty sure if I just actually got used to this bike in the riding position, I'll be straight. Or if I start off riding this bike in the first place, I think I'll be straight either way. Next topic, I'm talking about the wind. Alright, you have this big old windshield in front of you, and it does justice. It does justice for your body. But it doesn't do justice, or at least for me, for the top of my helmet. Alright, it's not bad whenever I'm driving around town, driving around the city, whatever. It's not bad. But when I drive on the highway, now that's when it gets annoying. Because the very top of my helmet is the only thing that's getting hit. It's the only thing getting hit. And what it does, it makes my helmet on my head start to wobble. I'll possibly end up getting a headache. Or if not a headache, my eyes just, they're going left and right. And I'm not able to focus as good. I mean, it just seems like the Ninja 250, if I'm either tucked in, I'm alright. Or, I mean, I can sit up on my Ninja 250, and I think it's better when I'm getting all the wind to my face. It's not as bad. But riding this bike, and I'm just getting the wind on top of my helmet, and the rest of my helmet is not getting wind, it just makes it where it feels like my head is just going left and right all over the place. I'm not able to focus as good. And maybe it's just me, maybe it's just I'm short, and it's just loud the top of my helmet get hit, and it's just awkward like that, but it is what it is. But another thing is, since you're the windshield is doing such a good job, technically, in front of you. Let me see if you can wave at me. Alright, but since your windshield is doing so good in front of you, technically, your helmet, your head would get hot. You don't have nearly as much wind coming to your head compared to a 250. I mean, my head gets so hot right when I'm riding this bike. I don't have that problem when I'm riding my 250, but this bike is just hard. Another thing I want to talk about this bike is the clearance. The clearance on this bike is dreadful. I think it's different just because I ride a sport bike, I'm trying to ride a cruiser, so you can't really compare the clearance between the two bikes. But it's just the fact of the clearance on this bike. You're trying to make corners. It is so scary trying to make a sharp turn. I mean, but granted, this bike is flickable. So easy just to flick. It wants to flick. But I don't like leaning this bike at all. Not at all, man. Leaning this bike is so scary. There have been times where I have scraped the bottom of the flip rest. Oh my gosh, it is dreadful. I mean, you scrape it, and when you scrape, your automatic reaction is to bring the bike back up. But when you bring the bike back up, you would continue going straight instead of the turn that you're trying to do. So it can be kind of dangerous depending on how fast you're going or how sharp you need to turn. So if you're a sport bike rider and you're thinking about getting a cruiser, just be aware of the clearance. There's a huge clearance difference from a sport bike and a cruiser. Sport bike, you can basically drag peg, a knee drag and stuff like that, elbow drag, whatever. On this bike, whoo, you're not doing any type of drag. The only drag you're doing is your foot is dragging, and which might cause your bike to flip, and then you're in for a really messed up day. So I suggest, if you're riding a sport bike, just be aware of what the clearance is on your bike and how far you can lean your bike. But one other thing I'm talking about, guys, is this bike is nowhere as near maneuverable as a sport bike at all. I mean, just, you know how a sport bike you can get a part where you want a lane split and do stuff like that. This bike, you don't want to do that at all. I mean, you have the power to do it, but you're just bigger. So you do not want a lane split on this bike, not at all. You don't want a lane split, you don't want to like try to pass aggressively between cars and stuff like that. You don't want to do that at all. But alright guys, that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching my YouTube channel. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button. And leave some comments down in the comment section and just give me some opinions of what you think. I mean, what you think I should do next. Give some topics to talk about. I mean, we're in this together, guys. But alright, y'all have a good one, alright. Y'all take it easy and be safe on the streets, alright. Peace.